Julia Christensen is a media art professor in Oberlin College and the creator of Waiting for a Break, a new public art project focused on Lake Erie in the winter.
I wanted to build a living project about the Great Lakes where we could bring images from points not easily accessed by humans into the public sphere throughout the course of the winter.
The project consists of 7 cameras focused on islands in the Sandusky Bay and the Maumee Bay. Directed at the water, they provide a 24-hour, real-time view of what's happening on Lake Erie. The first part of Waiting for a Break opened in December, a kiosk at Public Square that shows the live feeds to people passing through on their way to Tower City. The second part just opened up at Spaces Gallery in Hingetown, a whole exhibit dedicated to Waiting for a Break. A big part of the exhibit are the time-lapse videos that trace the forming and breaking up of ice on western Lake Erie.
So you can see the changes that occur, week by week from one camera on the lake. And it's really kind of mesmerizing to watch because you can see the ice, sort of forming and breaking and the snow and everything. There's a lot of drama.
The name Waiting for a Break refers to all of us waiting for the winter to break, for the ice to break, but it has another meaning too.
The sort of deeper message is that the Great Lakes and the health of the Great Lakes have been waiting for a break for a long time. So it's a really important time to bring our discussion about the health of the Great Lakes into the public sphere and talk about it.
The cameras are focused on western Lake Erie, long known as a center of pollution and water quality issues for Ohioans. It's western Lake Erie that suffers annual harmful algae blooms, turning the water green every summer and fall and threatening the water source for many communities. The main reason western Lake Erie is prone to algae blooms is the same reason for why it always freezes over. It's shallow.
There's a lot less volume of water. It's a lot more shallow. So it's really driven by weather patterns. The ice formation may occur very rapidly with the onset of a few days of very cold temperatures.
And this year has been unlike recent years, with an earlier than normal cold snap that produced below normal temperatures for the last half of December. Maximum ice cover on Lake Erie hit over 90% at one point in January. Typically, that kind of ice cover doesn't happen until mid-February.
Who could have guessed that the year I chose to put cameras along the shore of Lake Erie, that we would have this crazy cold snap at the beginning of the year and would have the ice that we've seen this year. From everyone that I spoke to as I was developing this project, it didn't really seem like that was expected.
Meteorologists predicted Lake Erie's surface to be a little less than half covered with ice this year, on average. The cold week at the beginning of this year, when Lake Erie ice cover jumped from 30% to 70%, inspired one of Christensen's pieces.
Cold Snap is a piece from another camera on Peach Point on South Bass Island, and it shows the live feed compressed again into a time-lapse video during that cold snap that we experienced at the beginning of the year this year in Northeast Ohio.
In addition to several time-lapse videos, the exhibit includes a series of photos of the lake at 5 p.m. Next to the photo is the reading room, where Christensen gathered the books and maps she used in her research.
And I just brought all of my books and put them on the table. Some of these books are underlined with my notes and everything. So I just wanted to present all of that so that people could peruse what I've been reading as I've been learning about the Great Lakes.
Christina Vassallo, the gallery's executive director, says Waiting for a Break connects with the gallery's message. It confronts an issue of local and international significance, but it also shows a side of the lake most of us never see.
Well, the lake has a life of its own that most of us don't see all the time, and I think what Julia reveals to us through her footage are all of the nuances and this incredible, dramatic waterscape, really, and what happens in it.
The feed has picked up a red fox scurrying across the ice, a stone laboratory employee walking on the ice from one island to another, and several of those famous Lake Erie sunsets.
I'm excited about the living nature of it and how you'll always experience something different when you see it. So it's changing every day in real time along with the lake. At first, I thought that I would leave out the night. What happened overnight, but once I started watching that part of the day, it was also equally exciting. The infrared kicks in on the camera, so it's all in black and white, but snowstorms and the development of the ice overnight is all really exciting to see too.
The project is educational, too. Spaces is hosting a family day this weekend where children can learn about Lake Erie and climate change and make thermometers to test the lake's temperature. Even meteorologists like Greenewalt look to on-the-ground photos and videos to see the lake's current conditions.
When we get an extended period of cold temperatures, that satellite data becomes degraded because we're looking at clouds and we're not looking underneath the clouds at the lake surface. So we have a little bit harder time making some determinations with what's happening with the ice and the extent of the ice when we're dealing with cloud cover. And that's where ground truth reports come in, very handy for us here at the Weather Service to understand the characteristics of the ice growth, especially along the lake shore.
With waiting for a break, Christensen wants people to admire the lake's beauty, but she also wants them to realize that what happens during the winter has year-round consequences.
Ice coverage is related to water evaporation and the harmful algae blooms that we've been seeing and any number of complex issues on the lake. And so it's important for us to look at the lake in the winter and gain an understanding of ice coverage.